Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We got a great show for you today. And if you want to call in, 570-530-8316. Beeb, let's get it started here. PBC pay-per-view on Prime. The main event, Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach, 12 rounds for Davis's WBA lightweight title. Tank Davis gets an absolute gift from the judges with a majority decision draw. Lamont Roach was absolutely robbed here. 115-113 for Davis, and then 114-114 from the other two judges. So majority decision draw right here. I had the fight scored 116-111 for Lamont Roach. Beeb, I believe you had the fight scored a draw, correct?
No, 116-112 for Roach.
Oh, you had a 116-112 as well. Okay, so we both had the same scorecard.
Yeah.
I thought he dominated this fight. I think from the outset, Lamont Roach was the aggressor. He wobbled Tank on a few occasions and outboxed him for most of the fight. Roach took every punch Tank threw and then just responded and man. You know what was interesting about Roach here is he was the aggressor, not Tank. You know how we usually see Tank and just coming forward, and that's all you see. He puts the pressure that he put. Who did he fight in his last? Was it Frank? It was Frank Martin.
Yeah, but what usually happens is this is what happens. What will happen is Tank will kind of start slow, and in the first 3 or 4 rounds, he won't be the aggressor. But once the fight starts to gear towards the second half, that's when he starts putting his foot on the gas a little bit. And once he hurts you, then he starts slowing his opponent down. Then he just really pours on the gas. What happened here was he couldn't stop Roach, couldn't hurt Roach.
No.
So he would land a good punch here and there, and Roach took it very well, and he answered right back with 2 or 3 of his own, and he was actually buzzing Tank. So this was a fight where Tank could not back the guy up when he decided to, when he did decide to become more aggressive. His Sunday punch wasn't working this time, and once that happened, he got a little bit discouraged, and Roach just kept coming forward. And I thought that for every one punch that Tank would land, particularly in the second half, Roach would come back with 2 or 3.
He outpunched him, outlanded him, outworked him, everything, man. And I tell you, like I said, it was just, to me, it was pretty clear. Those rounds weren't too difficult to score.
Yeah, the second half rounds were not difficult to score. And I was a little bit perplexed because I think 2 of the judges gave Tank the 12th. I didn't think Tank won that.
How on earth?
round.
Okay, well, let's talk about that for a second, because I don't know how on earth Tank had one series of shots. When they get into exchanges, I think he won 1 exchange out of the exchanges there. Yeah. How they gave that 12th round to Tank is beyond me.
Well,
completely beyond me.
Let's talk about the first half of the fight too, because I think.
Well,
I think the judges gave him 5 of the first 6 rounds. So 2 of the judges are, I think, or something.
Which is amazing to me. Which is unbelievable.
Because this is my theory, and I've always said this: if a round is quiet, right, I'm going to give it to the guy who's coming forward and actually throwing more punches and trying to initiate the action. If nothing significant is landing, then I'm going to give it to the aggressor, and I'm going to give it to the guy who's actually trying to make the fight and who's actually bringing some volume to the round, right? So even though those rounds are quiet, at least Lamont Roach is coming forward, and he's trying to throw punches and initiate the action. Tank wasn't doing pretty much damn near of anything in those first 3 rounds.
So look, I have, and I don't know if you have your scorecard handy or not.
I do. I pulled it up.
Okay. So I've got Tank. I had Roach winning 3 of the first 4 rounds. I had Tank winning 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12. I all had going to Roach, and I gave Tank the 11th round. I thought he had a pretty good 11th.
Okay,
round.
so yeah, I thought that was a swing round, that 11th round. I'll tell you what I did. I gave Roach rounds 1 and 2 and 4.
Okay.
I as well gave Tank 5 and 6, but I also gave Tank round 7.
Okay.
And then I gave Roach 8 through 12.
8 through 12. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But I could arguably have given Roach round 7, right?
Right.
And then you know, I could have had it even wider. Or if I gave Roach, if I gave Tank round 11, I still have 115 and 113. So it's not impossible to score this fight a draw, but I think it's a stretch.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't have scored it a draw. I didn't think it was close enough to be a draw. I'll be honest with you.
Like I'm saying, like you would have to give you would have to really go overboard. Like you would have to give, I don't know, if I flip round 11, then I'm trying to figure out what else could I do. Could I give Tank round 1? It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. You have to do a lot of mental gymnastics to get there, I think.
Well, let's talk about the big story last night. Joe Ramos said, forget the Tank fight. John Cena turned heel last night.
Did he really?
Yeah, he turned heel at the Elimination Chamber. Yeah.
Wow. I don't know if I like that. I don't think he's going to be a good. Can he be a good heel?
I don't know. I mean, he's been a face for so long. But look at Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan did a great job of it. So
that would be like me, like turning baby face, because I've been the heel on this show for like.
Right.
Its existence. Imagine if I started being nice to people.
That's right. Let's talk about the big 900-pound elephant in the room. Let's talk about round 9. All right. So Steve Willis, who is known, if you don't know who Steve Willis is, he's the face guy, where you see him making all the funny faces when somebody gets hit. They'll like capture it, and he's got his mouth open, or he's got his eyes really big, and he's looking at the big punches and everything like that. So if you don't know who he is, I guarantee you've seen him before. All right. And he's usually okay. Last night, he should have been fired on the spot. I'm going to tell you that right now. He should be done.
He needs to go find something else to do.
Find something else to do. In the 9th round, Roach hit Tank with a right hand, and he followed up with a left jab. Tank stepped back a few steps and then took a knee. All right. Right there. That's a knockdown.
Definitely a knockdown.
Knockdown, right? He separates him, right? As soon as Tank takes a knee, looks over, he sees that Roach is going to the neutral corner. He then went to his corner, where his corner man appeared to wipe his face off. Also illegal. Also completely illegal, by the way. All right? Could have been disqualified right there.
Easily.
Now, by the way, Steve Willis already counted to 2.
Then
he already counted to 2 and then stopped. And then for reasons unknown to anybody, except maybe Steve Willis' bank account, he waved off the knockdown and then told Davis, if he goes to a knee, it looks like a knockdown. So don't do that. Are you serious? What? What are you talking about? How on earth do you, first of all, it was a punch and then he went down. That's a knockdown.
That would be like a cop who pulls you over for running a red light and says, you look like you ran that red light, so don't do it again or you're going to get a ticket.
Right. And that's a warning. But that's not a warning. It's like you robbing a bank and then saying, you know, when you do this and pull the gun out in the teller, it looks like you're robbing the bank. So if you do that, we're probably going to arrest you, but don't do it again.
Yeah, you can take money this time, but next time you're not going to be able to keep it.
Next time, don't worry about it. That's how egregious this was. He took a knee. And let me tell you what, if Steve Willis wasn't paid for that, he should have been. All right. And I guarantee you look at his bank account today, and I want to know if there's any more zeros in there. Because it doesn't, I've said it for years, it doesn't make sense to pay off, you know, to pay like Tank Davis to take a dive. It doesn't make sense. He makes too much money. You can't cover it anyway. He'll make more money if he wins, right? And Lamont Roach is the same way. He can make way more money if he wins. Doesn't make any sense. But the judges, the referees, they can be bought because they don't make that much. This isn't their full-time gig. This is nobody's full-time gig.
That's insane, man.
What on earth were you doing? Please explain this to me. What on earth were you doing when that guy got hit with a right hand and then a left jab, takes a knee? That's a knockdown. How is that not a, and then he goes to his corner. His corner works on him. What? What am I missing? What am I missing here? The corner worked on him. And after the fight, he claims, well, I just got my hair done and it's got some kind of grease in it or something like that was dripping in my eye.
Here.
Whose fault is that?
Get the fuck out of here.
You moron. Whose fault is that? And you know what? It's a plausible story. It probably happened that way, but you can't do that. That is a knockdown.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is he got hit in the eye twice.
Yes.
Right? And then he decides to take a knee.
What are you doing?
That's insane, bro.
That's a knockdown.
That's insane.
Take a knee all night, but that's a knockdown.
I'm sorry. That's insane.
And for Steve Willis not to call that, why the commission didn't get all up on him is amazing to me.
Yeah,
how is that
amazing.
not called after the fact? And not one judge gave him a 10-8 round.
And I get aggravated.
I get it. They shouldn't have. I get it. They shouldn't have. Because it wasn't officially called a knockdown. It was not a round that was super, I mean, don't get me wrong. Roach won the round, but it wasn't a super dominant round. He clearly won the round, but it wasn't enough to give him a 10-8 without the knockdown. So if you give him a 10-8, that's not good. That's going against what the ref said, and you can't do that.
And whoever's there, whether it be the supervisor of the event from the sanctioning body, someone's got to step in and they got to do something about that. And another thing that I hate
he should be fired. That was too big of a mistake to make on that scale.
And not only that, they should be able to go back and change that decision. I'm sorry. They should be able to change that decision.
Ron A says he's off tank. He's had his hair done 2 days ago, so he's allowed to take a knee. Hair product burns. There you go. Okay. Wheelchair man John, Uncle Al paid the rest for, Uncle Al paid the refs. Georgie's in the chat. Georgie says robbery ? Yeah, robbery. How is it not? He was robbed and knocked down, and ultimately when two judges had 114 all, which again, I don't know about that, but look, they won the fight. Now look, babe, I never. Gavin's Ghost said, "Did they ever mention using instant replay for what? It was all right there. Everybody saw what happened, including the ref. He just made the wrong call."
WBC uses instant replay. None of the other sanctioning bodies, to my knowledge.
Yeah, this was a WBA, and the WBC use it. They use it half-heartedly anyway.
Yeah, they use it sparingly. That's another thing with you. They have this second day weigh-in policy, but they don't even use it all the time. They use it when they feel like they're. I don't want to get into that.
And let me tell you this. I never advocate filing a complaint to reverse a decision.
They got to do something.
You have to.
And now
I'm always on the side that says, you know what, we're in a hurt business here. You get in there and you fight, and if you think you won, you didn't, the judges took care of it. No, this is one where you were actually robbed of it by this ref. This ref screwed up, and he made a mistake. And you know what? I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he made a mistake. But it's a mistake that is so amateurish that he should never have made. When he went down, that's it. Any part of your body touches the ground, that's a knockdown. The ropes hold you up. That's a knockdown.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't know if the standing 8 count was in effect last night. I don't know. But
they don't do the standing 8 count anymore.
Perfect. So you know what a knockdown is. I know what a knockdown is.
Sure.
Why, when he and then went to his corner to get worked on, why in the world did he have that much favoritism? Why? He screwed up.
There's no timeouts in boxing, bro.
There's no timeouts. When have you ever seen a timeout in boxing?
Never. Unless the referee decides to
timeout.
stop it for whatever reason, to have the fighter get looked at by the doctor or whatever. If there's it because the mouthpiece is out, stops it because the tape's loose. Has to be done by the referee. The fighter cannot initiate a timeout.
And that's the other thing. Steve Willis actually started counting. And then Davis pled his case to him, and he says, okay, well, don't do that anymore. I don't care what he's got to say. Your knee hit the canvas. What's to say that wasn't from a punch?
Yeah.
What's to say that wasn't from a punch?
Yeah.
Because he tagged him with the right hand.
It looked like it was from a punch. It looked like it was a delayed reaction from a punch.
Let me tell you what. The punch that actually he went down on was a left jab. It looked like a straight left hand, left jab or whatever.
Well, Floyd Mayweather hurt his hand in the fight when he punched. I forget who it was. I think it was Hernandez or something like that. Right? Was it? I can't remember if it was Rocky Hernandez. I can't remember who it was. And then he took a knee, and he didn't get hit with a punch. And the referee started counting. It was a knockdown.
Yeah.
So anytime you voluntarily take a knee because you need a timeout, That's a knockdown. Simple and plain.
You know what? I don't know if this is accurate. I didn't pay too much attention to it. Raphael, thank you so much, my friend. The boxing god stepped in. This is from Raphael. The boxing god stepped in and blessed the boxing world because had Tank knocked out Roach, he was going to call out Jake Paul. Jake Paul was at the fight last night. You know, look, man.
Well, that's what they said. He said, I'm not going to have an immediate rematch with Lamont Roach. I'm going to be fighting the guy that visited my locker room. So who visited his locker room yesterday? Was it Jake Paul? I don't know.
I don't know.
That's what he said at the post-fight press conference. He goes, I'll give him a rematch, but it's not going to be an immediate one. So So now I'm starting to think, is he going to fight Jake Paul next? I don't know. He's too small.
He's too small.
He's way too small to fight Jake Paul.
Yeah, he's way too small.
Maestro was telling me that Isaac Cruz visited him in the locker, so he says it's Isaac Cruz. I don't know.
Was Maestro there last night?
No, he didn't even want to go because I'm not going to say why he didn't want to go because I don't want to put him on the spot, but he didn't want to go.
Okay.
I'll tell you offline.
Gary Russell says Russell versus Pitbull. Okay. But yeah, I mean, so I don't know. Like I said, man, I don't know if he's fighting Jake Paul next. I don't know. It's a horrible fight. It's a fight I don't want to see. If that's it, I'd rather see him fight Lamont Roach because I thought Lamont Roach wiped the floor.
He deserves an immediate rematch.
He deserves it, right?
No question.
Where's the WBA? You know, strip him of that belt and give it to Roach, or let Roach fight for it. Some other guy.
That was disgraceful.
If he doesn't want to fight, because it was disgraceful. And let me tell you what, man, Steve Willis should never referee again. If he's going to referee, take him back down to the amateurs. Let him do the ladies' fights. Let him do whatever.
Well, the ladies' fights.
That's right. Yeah, he's good for that.
Please.
Let him go in for the ladies' fights or whatever like that. You know, he can even do championships over there. It's 20 minutes, 20 minutes, they give you a crown. Anyway, keep him out of the big boy events.
Bare knuckle boxing. You want to send him over to that league, huh?
Yeah, send him over there. Send him over there. You wouldn't
even let him referee WWE events at this point.
No,
he couldn't even be the guest referee.
That's what he looked like. That's what he's like. He's like he was like a WWE referee.
He couldn't even be the guest referee at like a WWE event. You wouldn't even allow that.
That's right. Well, he said he'll call anything, but as long as if he sees it, it's just he puts himself in a position where he doesn't see stuff. Nonsense.
That's hilarious.
Go back to he was a stand-up comedian for a little bit, man. Go back to that. All right, because you ain't cut out for this. What's the matter with you? Send him to Misfits. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, send him to Misfits. Send him to Misfits. That's right. Go.
That's hilarious.
Go referee. Who was it? KSI
or whatever. The gorgeous ladies of wrestling. Glow.
You remember rollerball back in the day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go referee that. Go do that for a little while.
Hilarious.
Pro box. No, he ain't going to pro box, Omar. No way.
Not letting him go there.
No, those are real fights over there. Yeah. Go referee Nico Ali Walsh or KSI or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. What you doing? What an airhead, man. I mean, really, like that was stupid. And, up until that point, you talk about like, say, Richard Steele, Meldrick Taylor, and Meldrick Taylor Chavez and Richard Steele will forever live.
That was so aggravating watching that live. I was so angry.
See, I was a Chavez guy back in the day, so I love that. I love that fight.
I actually liked Taylor a lot. I still do like Taylor. I like Taylor in that fight. And I was a big fan of Taylor.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad for him after that fight.
And it stopped it with 5 seconds or 2 seconds left.
Ooh, 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
And he nodded his head yes.
So that was like, you look at that call and like, wow, this call was 100% worse because it took place in front of your eyes. I can argue for Richard Steele to stop that fight. I can argue that Meldrick Taylor was looking over here. He wasn't looking at Richard Steele. He was looking over here.
Yeah, that was Dan Dugan's
And Richard
fault.
Steele asked him twice, and Meldrick Taylor I didn't see anything.
He nodded his head very, very subtly, but
I know he's looking over here when Richard Steele's talking to him.
Yeah, because you know why?
Yourself, you're supposed because Duva got up on the apron.
Yeah.
But you know yourself, you're supposed to look the referee. Hey, I've got it. He knew. All right, so I can excuse it, okay? And I can also make an argument for it too. But the point is, I can't make any argument for what that moron did last night. Put him in, like I said, man, go have him referee 3 rounders or something like that, because you ain't cut out for the big kids now.
You cannot get a call again for a while.
Yeah, no. Are you kidding me?
Someone's watching this show, like,
See
you lay into the guy. You're destroying this guy. This guy, he ain't even going to be able to go to Publix like if he wants to go shopping. They're going to ridicule him there after they see this show.
Publix. They're getting a Publix in Ohio now. How about that? We're going to get one here.
You're destroyed. Well, because they watch the show, they see.
That's right. They know Publix is where I go. You know,
endorsements. They know what's going on.
Holla. So yeah, man, he's got to go. He's got to go. Shout out to Struthers, Ohio. There you go, from Jason Cole. Is this the end? Is this the end of the Tank regime? Yes.
Nearing.
Yes. I think it's nearing. I'm gonna tell you, there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, he's talking about fighting Jake Paul. Number two, all right, and that's how you know it's on the rails. Number two, up here, that's all he was talking about is retirement. Up until this fight, that's it. Yeah, I've only got a little bit left. I've only got a couple more fights. You know, who have you fought? Who has he fought? Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia's the big name. Who has he fought? Yeah, he's KO'd a lot of people. I get it. And people love him. I get it. I like watching him. He's must-see TV. But at the end of the day, who have you fought?
And I'm not a pound-for-pound guy. You know that. But they had him.
TFMO.
They had him number 8 in the pound-for-pound rankings in the Ring magazine. Based off what?
Based off what?
Then I asked Dougie Fisher one time on Twitter, like, why is he in the rankings? He goes, oh, I don't do the rankings.
Yeah,
maybe you need to, Dougie.
Dougie's a friend of the show.
I love Dougie.
Dougie's a friend of the show.
Like, that wasn't a disrespect. That was just me, you know.
Because it sounded an awful lot like disrespect. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, wow, that sounds like disrespect.
No, the tone wasn't of that type of demeanor for that to be disrespect.
All right.
You listen to the tone. Play it back later when you want. You know,
play it back later. I'll talk to the radio. Yeah, so unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Let me tell you this. Let's talk about another missed opportunity here that PBC is just perfect for. This is what they do all the time. All the time. Let me tell you this. Tank Davis, Gary Russell, Jared Hurd, you know where they're from? Maryland. Right there. Gary Russell and Tank are both from Baltimore, Maryland. You know where Lamont Roach is from? DC.
DC, yeah.
Yeah. You know what that is? That's a crosstown rivalry. And anywhere it is popular as Tank is in Baltimore and Roach is over there in Washington, D.C., yeah, that's right across the bay. That's a fight.
That's right.
Why is this in Brooklyn?
I know.
Why on earth did you put this in Brooklyn?
I can't answer that.
The Battle of Ohio took place over in Las Vegas, on the other side of the country. What are you doing? This happens all the time.
All the time.
With PBC. They can never get it right. Even Turkey Al-Sheikh says, okay, let's have some fights here in the U.S. The Canelo fights in the U.S. because we know he likes you. You know, we know he sells out in the U.S.
Absolutely.
We're going to go where? Where he sells out.
Right. But Canelo,
even Eddie Hurd has learned this. Going to Philadelphia for fights, for hometown guys.
He's really big on putting. Yeah, he really. Once you sign with him, he makes a concerted effort to get you a fight in your hometown. He always does that. He did it with Boots. He did it with Boots. Did it with Did it with Devin. He always does that for you.
Are you serious? Like, you miss golden opportunity after golden opportunity here. All the fighters are from Maryland. Great. Washington, D.C. Great. Put them on in New York.
And Eddie's learning the market here pretty. Like, he was getting criticized a lot when he first started doing fights over here. He doesn't understand the United States market. I think he picked up pretty quickly on it. I got to give him credit.
Levon Everett says that Tank versus Antoine in Redskin Stadium would be massive. Listen, man, I don't know if you can put the fights in the stadium. I don't know if anybody can really sell out a stadium. But I know they can sell out a big arena over there. And I know they got 20,000 seats over there. So look, man, get it done.
So you got me thinking now, are they really going to do a Tank versus Jake Paul fight?
I don't know. He was there last night. Let me tell you what. He was there last night. You saw the pay-per-view just like I did. He was there last night, right? That being said, he was on the camera all the time. Every time they could sneak a shot, they did.
Yeah. So they thought it was going to be Jake Paul and Canelo. So now what's this, like the consolation prize for Jake Paul?
Right. Who wants to fight now?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that fight was significantly less than it was just 24 hours ago.
This is crazy. If he fights Tank Davis, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't
Shout out to Jason Cole. Thank you so much, my friend. He said, "You guys are awesome. I support your show, Ohio, Midwest, Southeast Florida. We hear you live on your podcast. Thank you so much, my friend.
Brother. Thank you."
So yeah, man. I don't know. Again, man, you look at this, you're like, what? Just the whole PBC model seems to be just falling apart. They need to get on. They need to get with Turki Al-Sheikh, or those fighters need to get with Turki. But you know what? They don't want to. Yeah. You know why? You know why, and I know why. Because Turki will put you up against the best competition out there. And he's going to get you pricey, he's going to get you a good payday, but you're going to have to earn that payday. It ain't going to be easy.
And then he had the gall to like talk trash about like what went on with the Shiraz fight. And Tank was critical of that. Well, look what happened here.
Right. Look what happened here. What are you critical about Shiraz for? He put it out on the line. So he didn't win or he got a draw or whatever.
Well, he's criticizing like Turki Al-Sheikh. He's criticizing like Turki Al-Sheikh, saying, "Oh, he was down by 2 rounds." Like he's looking at the scorecard. So Floyd was like telling you when you were down by 2 rounds too, like because he was. So I mean, what difference does it make?
So what? Like, come on, man. All right, let's talk about the co-main here. It was Jose Valenzuela versus Gary Antoine Russell. 12 rounds for Valenzuela's WBA junior welterweight title. Gary Antoine Russell looked amazing.
Beautiful.
He beat Valenzuela by unanimous decision, 119-109 on 2 cards, 120-108 on the 3rd.
Yeah, very one-sided.
Man, Russell looked really good here. Yeah. He looked so good.
Espinosa could not keep him at the end of that jab, and Gary Russell was in his chest all night, and he was just manhandling him on the inside.
Yeah.
Really, really great performance.
Yeah,
really great.
It really was, man. He did a super job. Won the WBA junior welterweight title, and he wasn't favored in this fight. He was the underdog in this fight.
I didn't think he was going to win this fight.
Yeah,
and I didn't think he was going to win this fight.
He looked good, man.
I thought Espinosa was the better boxer. I thought he would keep him at the end of the jab, pot shot him from the outside.
Yeah.
And, no, he was really Gary Russell was really Antoine Russell, was very elusive. Really great with feinting on the way in. He had his jab working for him. He was getting off first, and once he was inside there, he kept his hands moving, and he was just bullying and manhandling and pushing Espinosa back, and he didn't let him breathe in this fight. Didn't let him breathe at all.
He looks great, man.
Good for him.
Let's talk about Alberto Puello versus Sandor Martin. 12 rounds for Puello's WBC junior welterweight title. Puello wins a split decision over Sandor Martin. 115-113 twice and 116-112 for Puello. 115-113 twice for Puello and 116-112 for Martin. Sandor is always in close fights, and he never seems to get that nod, man.
Yeah, it's tough.
And Valenzuela. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. It was Valenzuela.
Oh, did we say Espinosa?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, I apologize. Yeah, Valenzuela. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Espinosa too.
Yeah. But
it was Rio. It was Rio. Yeah.
It was, and that was a good fight. It was not the most exciting fight, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But I mean, he just like I said, he fights close fights. But
problem with him is
not doing enough. You tell me, man. Does he not do enough to win? Why does he keep coming up short?
Because he fights in spurts, and he's always fighting off the back foot. And when you're always trying to be that guy waiting for the mistake to happen instead of creating the mistake to happen, what happens when the guy doesn't make the mistake? Because Puello is a crafty guy too. He likes to lay back, pick and choose his spots a little bit too. But in this fight, he had to be a little bit more aggressive. And Sandor Martin did not match his intensity. When he decided to step to him, Sandor Martin did not match his intensity, and he kept trying to set the traps. And when someone doesn't bite on the trap, then you gotta go to a plan B. And Sandor Martin just doesn't have that plan B sometimes. He just doesn't know how to turn it up at the right time when he needs to take the round off the table. He leaves the round on the table, making you think, well, who got this one? Well, I mean, Sandro Martin was the guy who was kind of laying back a little bit, not really initiating any action.
It makes a difference, man.
Yeah, you'll lose a round just by inches because you decided to just lay back a little bit too much in a round. So
you and I watch the sport for years now, and you can name a handful of people that backpedaled all the fight, that was their game. They would backpedal, wait for them, and counter. You get Hector Camacho, Pernell Whitaker, Floyd Mayweather to an extent as a welterweight.
Make them miss, make them pay.
Make them miss, make them pay. But very few people can get away with that style. But because they actually throw punches. They have to. They're busy. If you watch them, they're busy. And with me, I a lot of times I'll give the aggressor the round. Unless he's getting tore up. I'll give the round to the aggressor. But it's because it's effective. It's effective aggression. He's going there. He's landing shots. The other guy's, maybe blocking them, maybe countering a little bit. But overall, he's doing more work. So yeah, man, you got to throw punches. It's just you have to be somewhat busy.
You can argue that Sandro Martin does just enough to lose. You know what I mean?
That's a great point too.
How many split decision losses does this guy have?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How many times have you watched a fight and scored against this guy 115 and 113? Does just enough to lose.
Does just enough.
It's hard to say.
And why? His corner. But his corner probably. I mean, they're in this time. You could score some of his fights and say, I thought he won the fight. But when it's that close, when it's that razor close, there's ways to take it out of a judge's hands without a knockout, man.
Yeah, the Teofimo Lopez is a prime example of that too.
Yeah.
It was another fight where he did just enough to lose.
Yeah.
I had him just barely losing that fight. Some people had him winning. Majority of people had him losing barely.
Yeah.
So
that's it, man. Yoenis Tszyu versus Julian J-Rock Williams, 12 rounds, junior middleweights. Tszyu wins by unanimous decision, 119, 109, 117, 111, and 118 to 110. I got to be honest, man. Julian Williams did not look good here.
I gave him one round. And,
when he was in his corner, you saw when he was in his corner, and it was like toward the end of the fight, and he's asking his corner, and his corner saying, look, just go out there and do the best you can. Let me tell you this. For any boxer out there, when your corner says just do the best you can, you need a knockout to win if you can get one.
And you know what's frustrating about it? They wouldn't tell him he needed a knockout to win.
Because why? Because he wasn't capable of giving one. They knew
maybe they were afraid if he tried to go for a knockout, he may have gotten
he would get knocked out. And I think they wanted him to finish the fight standing just for a pride thing.
Yeah.
But I get that. But no, he could not have knocked that guy out.
They were lying to him the whole fight because they were saying the fight was close too at certain spots. During
I think that was motivation. Hopefully, I mean, if you're
everything was motivation, but it just wasn't working. At some point, I probably would have.
I didn't hear much instruction. I'll be honest, and maybe they gave him instruction early, but I didn't hear coming down the stretch. I didn't hear a whole lot of instruction. I heard a lot of motivation, but I didn't hear a lot of instruction.
A lot of Tony Robbins speech type.
Right.
Robbins,
I mean, it wasn't quite Teddy Atlas. Listen, it wasn't exactly Teddy Atlas in there, but I'm just saying, they were giving him a lot of motivation, but not a whole lot.
This may be the end of the road for J-Rock. We're going to give him the old Robbie send off. He may need to find something else to do, man.
Him to go hang out with Steve Willis. He's going to be unemployed in a minute here.
Please.
If Steve Willis gets another title fight after this, and there's nothing handed, he got paid for that.
Yeah.
He got paid.
Yeah.
He got paid by somebody. If he comes back and he's in a title fight or something stupid, he got paid. 100%. Jarrett Hurd to round out that card. Jarrett Hurd versus Johan Gonzalez. 10 rounds middleweights. Gonzalez wins a split decision over Jarrett Hurd. 98-92, 96-94. And for Gonzalez, and then 96-94 for Hurd. Hurd announced his retirement right after the fight. He said that if he lost it, he was going to retire. Listen, man, as soon as, and this is what I referred to with Tank earlier, as soon as you hear a guy saying retire, that's big.
One foot's out there. One
foot's already out the door because you're thinking about the after, Yeah. And when you're here getting hit in the face, you know what I mean? You got to be all in. You can't be half in and half out. You got to be all in. It just is. Rafflebox says Hurd is done. Yeah, he's done, man.
He's done. He's got to find something else to do.
Who are they to still be putting Hurd on pay-per-view cards? Yeah, right. I don't know.
Hey,
I was shocked too. I think we all were. Yeah, Hurd is a great guy, man. Dante says, I hate to see Hurd's downfall. He was nice in his prime. He was, man. I love Jarrett Hurd. I mean, and he's such a nice guy, man. That was the one with Corey, right? Corey had a pretty good relationship with Jarrett Hurd.
Yeah, he did. He did.
And love watching his interviews and stuff like that with him. He seemed like a super good guy, man.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
They're all nice guys, man. But at the end of the day, man, it's
what it is.
It sucks to see it, man. It really does, man.
Everyone has their time, right?
But hey, at least he recognized it. He recognized it and said, you know what? I'm done, and good for him. Because a lot of guys don't recognize it. And they still go on and they just get mashed in their next few fights, Turkey's probably going to put paper up for a Davis Roach rematch. I don't know. I don't know that he will. Why? Why would he put that money up? Tank has showed no interest in Turkey Al-Sheikh or anything like that. What did Tank say? He wanted some Ferraris or something like that in order to get
two Lamborghinis or something
Lamborghinis.
Like that?
Yeah, okay.
Two Ferraris. Right. I don't know.
And you know what? Turkey would have given to him. I'm sure Turkey would have done it. If that's what you want in lieu of payment. Yeah, let's do it.
Right.
On DAZN, Subriel Matias versus Gabe Valenzuela. Matias wins by TKO in the 8th. Beeb, is Matias back to form, or there's so many flaws with this guy?
Yeah,
power is an equalizer.
Here's the thing. Super Matias is going to be in some exciting fights. Yeah. He's got a fan-friendly style. So whether he becomes world champion again or not, at least he's going to give you dollar for value, right? It's going to give you value for dollar, excuse me. So this was the perfect style matchup for him. Valenzuela, this was the only way he could fight. He's not a cutesy type fighter. He's not a slick boxer type. He's a in your face, I'm going to go punch for punch with you. And he just didn't have the firepower to be able to do it. Yeah.
Perfect matchmaking.
Matchmaking. Can Super Matias become a world champion again? Sure. Will he ever be that guy in that division? Because of his flaws, you have to question, maybe not. There's always going to be that guy that's going to have that type of style that's going to give him problems, and we've seen it. We've seen it. Richard Hitchens. Yeah, I think Richardson Hitchens. I think he would beat Matias. Who else? I think Tszyu has a style to beat Matias as well too. I think that he has to be matched properly. And one thing is for certain, he's always going to give you an entertaining fight. So at least you got to give him credit for that. Yeah, and he still can punch. He's a heavy hitter. So
there you go. ESPN Plus. This was on like Tuesday. I believe this is Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah. It was one of those weekday fights. Junto Nakatani versus David Cuellar. Nakatani wins by a TKO in the 3rd round. Man, I tell you what, I saw this fight and he just completely outmatched Cuellar. He just completely outmatched him.
Yeah.
It was bad. So where does Nakatani go from here? Is it Bam Rodriguez?
Could be Bam.
Or is it Inoue?
I don't think either fight is a bad fight. For me, I think I'd rather see him go up and fight Inoue, but I don't hate that Bam fight either.
I think the Bam fight I don't know if it's bigger or not, but
I would probably advise maybe do the Bam fight I would probably do the Nakatani fight first, and then you could always go back down and fight Bam if you lose. So I'd probably do the Inoue fight first, and then you could always go back down and fight Bam. Because if you lose the Bam first,
then Bam goes up and fights him. Which I tell you what, that ain't no gimme fight. Bam's, Bam's.
But the big fight in Japan, though, obviously, is Inoue and Nakatani. Yeah. So why ruin that? Why not just do that one first? None of this other stuff to get in the way and marinate this, and just do it. Do it now before something happens,
Yeah, you never know, man. You never know. Champy, thank you so much. He said at Ringside Reporter, just think about the high level of main event we had last week compared to this trash main event. Now, the main event was good.
Yeah,
but if you look at it,
a better card than I thought.
Yeah, it was definitely, listen, man, fighters have a tendency to carry the day when it comes to cards. You can look at a card and say, but then they get in there and a lot of times they pull it off.
We had some upsets. We had some upsets last night, obviously. Most not Roach won. If it wasn't for the $80 price tag, if this was on regular Amazon Prime, no one would be complaining about it. No one.
If this was, let me tell you what, What did we 25 last week compared to $80 this week. This was not an $80 card. It was not an $80 main. Listen, as much as I enjoyed the main event, it was not $80 worth of main event.
No.
It was not. Was not $80 worth of undercard. Just wasn't. Last week, you know what it should have been? This should have been $25. Yeah. And that should have been $80. Yeah. The fact that they were reversed is unbelievable. I'll be curious, real curious to see those buy rates. And let me tell you what, my guess is you ain't going to see those buy rates.
Oh, they're not going to tell you. They don't tell you anymore. They don't tell you anymore.
And you know why they're not going to tell you? Because they're not good, because they're under 200,000. And you know what? That's my prediction here. It will be under 200,000, which means you ain't going to see the buy.
Maestro said that he doesn't even think it. He said it would probably do barely 100,000. He said. I don't even know that it does that for $80. $80. I wonder if Robbie bought
$25. You know, Robbie bought it. Of course, he bought it.
Where is that weasel?
Oh, that's cold-blooded, man. Before, let's bring him on here. Robert, you're live. 530.
What's up, Weez?
And Joe, I was Joe.
By the way, but before we do anything here, what was wrong with the way I did the upcoming fights last week? Huh?
You didn't read all.
What did I read? What fight did I leave out? What fight? What fight did I leave out?
You left out the Rocky Hernandez fight on Friday. It turned out to be pretty darn good.
Who cares about Rocky Hernandez? Fight,
Robert, that fight was not good. It was very one-sided, Robert. It was a very one-sided fight. Stop pretending it was good. But go ahead.
What was it out? WOR out of New York? It was on public access cable. That fight was on public access cable. Get out of here.
First of all, Robbie.
What's the matter with you?
You don't have the cards, all right, Robbie? You don't have the cards. You don't have the cards, Robbie.
Let me tell you something. You want to start putting some respect on Joe's name. Just say thank you.
Just come on in and say thank you for letting me call in. That's all you have to do. Say thank you. You don't have the cards, Robbie.
You don't have the cards?
Give me a break. What, are you trying to play Donald Trump here?
Hey, you don't have the cards.
He ain't got the cards. Beeb, I checked. He doesn't have the cards.
Give me a break.
You wearing a suit? Huh? Because you don't even show us any respect by dressing up, by calling up in here.
Give me a break.
Did you see the Tank Davis fight, Robbie?
Did you see the Tank Davis fight?
Do what?
Did you watch
the Tank Davis fight?
Hell no.
Oh, come on, you boy. You're lying. Damn it.
That's what I was going to say, Joe. Why do you always say I buy these things when I tell you I don't?
Clearly he buys them.
I don't.
First of all, okay, you and I have the same accountant, okay? And I know what's going on.
When I tell you I'm not going to buy something, I mean it. I did not buy February 1st. I did not buy March 1st.
Just for verification. Just for verification, put Mrs. Herrick on the phone. I want to ask her if you bought it.
Oh, there we go.
And if you say no, that means I know you bought it.
No, I did not buy it.
Well, if you don't put Mrs. Herrick on the phone for verification, you bought it.
No, I don't have to do that. If you
don't have to do it,
when I tell you,
but I don't have to believe you.
Okay, then don't believe
works both ways here. You don't have the cards.
I'm not paying for somebody. I'm not paying for somebody that does not like to fight anybody. Now the fight turned out to be better than what it was supposed to be, but he doesn't want to fight anybody. He wants to handpick his opponent.
Who?
I can't support anybody like that.
Who?
Tank Davis.
Oh, stop it.
Robbie,
what did you think of your boy, Steve Willis? Huh? You're over there crowing about him.
That is inexcusable. If everything you say is true, because I didn't see it.
You didn't even say it.
That's why you called it inexcusable. So you must have watched it. If you
I was thinking the same thing.
Inexcusable, you must have watched it.
Iceman wants to know why you're not wearing a suit.
Well, that's okay. I watched plenty of boxing yesterday without having to pay $80.
Would you watch?
I watched 3 cards on DAZN yesterday.
Nobody even watched those cards. Were you talking about the Subriel Matias? Nobody even saw that. You kidding me?
Yeah, I watched it.
Everybody was watching the Tank fight.
Robert,
Everybody.
you were watching the Tank fight. You didn't have time to watch that Matias fight.
I didn't even cover those other fights. Nobody wanted to watch them.
You bought the Tank fight.
No, I did not.
Covering two pigeons over there fighting for a piece of bread or something like that. What's the matter with you?
No, I
That
did
was
not.
great. That was a great line. I love it.
Well, I do not appreciate both of you saying that I bought something when I did not.
Right. I tell you, that's what you got. Yeah.
A lot of things in this world I don't appreciate. Sometimes you got to take it on the chin, man.
That's right. Hey, I don't appreciate you not wearing a suit when you're talking to us. You know what I mean?
Hey,
he done told you a million times you don't have the cards.
I would much rather pay.
When I go to the gym, I don't appreciate when I walk over to the bench and some guy's on his cell phone going like this for 20 minutes. But I have to deal with it.
To drive you nuts.
What am I going to do? Am I going to knock the guy out?
Yeah.
And get thrown out of there? Sometimes you got to take the L. Sometimes you got to take the L, Robert.
Yeah.
You got to take the L sometimes.
I don't have unlimited access to Fort Knox.
Now all of a sudden we're gonna play the Mr. Poormouth here. Like you need Fort Knox to buy a pay-per-view, Robert. I mean, you have to overdramatize.
What is wrong with you?
Everything, Robert. You have to always try to dramatize everything.
What is wrong with you? What's the matter with you?
Please, Robert.
Cup.
Yep.
All right.
No, Eric, if what you say is accurate about Steve Willis, that's bad.
What do you think I'm lying to everybody about what Steve Willis
Now you're trying to say Eric is making things up,
No.
right? You think this is performative what Eric's doing here? This is the real deal.
Real deal, son.
Please.
Real deal. All right, Robert, we're going to put you back on hold here. We're going to put you back on hold.
He didn't even watch the fights. Get him out.
He didn't watch the fights.
Please.
All right. Let's go 410. 410. You're live. Is that Jerry? Is that Baltimore?
Is that Baltimore?
What's up there, lady?
It is the King of Baltimore.
What's going on
You're
there?
talking to the King of Baltimore, Daddy.
What's going on there?
Yeah.
Jerry.
That's right.
Jerry, what's the word?
Good job making an adversary out of your one dedicated caller there.
You?
Guys.
Because you're a dedicated caller. You're the only dedicated caller we like, Jerry. You know that. Come on. You're our ace in the hole every week. Show revolves around you. Show revolves around you.
You don't call in, man. The show takes a hit.
Oh, just a hit. Huge hit. Ratings.
The likes go way when you're not on the line. The likes go way down.
Terrible.
Jerry, the likes go way down when you're on the line.
Bottom line, Jerry, is I think you ought to show us some respect. You know what I'm saying? Huh?
I'm glad to hear
showing
you
us some respect.
I hope you're wearing a suit.
Huh? You wearing a suit today? Huh? I asked you a question. Go ahead, man. What you think about the Tank fight?
I thought he lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lost. But it's not that big of a deal, really. I wasn't surprised that it was a draw. In fact, I was surprised that they didn't just give him the decision.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed about boxing. Boxing's corrupt. Money makers get the benefit of the doubt. This is known throughout the history of boxing. The referee made a bad call with the knockdown. But the reality is these refs, this stuff happens in real time, and they don't always make the right call.
Yeah, but you know what?
Now,
you saw that, right?
Well,
you saw what I'm talking about.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Well, of course I've seen it. But what I've seen many a times is what you referenced, Richard Steele stopping that fight with Mildred Taylor and Chavez with 2 seconds left.
Yeah.
Richard Steele said it's not my reality is there's a 10-second ticker that lets the ref know that the round is about to come to a close. So it's not true that it's not his job to keep time. That's what that ticker is for. So he can get in between the fighters if need be. Let me finish. And that fight had 2 seconds left. Mildred Taylor won that fight. Now, that's just one of many. Not that long ago, many people, myself included, and I know you won't agree with this, but many people, and myself included, saw Daniel Dubois land a shot right to the pit of Alexander Usyk's stomach. The ref was on the other side. He called it a low blow. These things happen in real time. And human error is a part of it. And it wouldn't have mattered, even if they would have ruled that a knockdown. Tank Davis wasn't losing no decision to Lamont Roach. last night, just by way of him being the moneymaker in that division. Wasn't going to happen. Now, what's going to happen is Tank's popularity is actually going to go up in a backhanded kind of way. Most people thought he lost the fight, but everybody's talking about it. When you talk about him and Jake Paul, you say he's not big enough. I would agree. But guess what he is big enough for? He's big enough to get that payday. Yeah. People are starting to look at Jake Paul like he's some type of real deal. He's not. He's a guy that fights old, retired UFC fighters. He's coming off a Fugazi fight with Tyson that was scripted and fake. He's talked about fighting his brother because there's no more retired UFC fighters of any clout other than what's the Irish dude?
McGregor.
Yeah,
Conor McGregor.
That he could fight. And he's talked about fighting his brother, and now it's all the way down to the Fugazi. So him and Tank Davis will make a fight. They'll agree that, look, we're just going to do this, we'll call it a draw, or whatever bullshit they do, and they'll collect a lot of money. And so, you know, it's unfortunate for Tank Davis. I had high hopes for him. He's the hardest punching 135-pounder fighter I've seen. And I really hope that he would make his mark in the sport, but it's clear he's not going to. He's just not going to. So, you know, what do you do?
I would agree. All right, Jerry, we're going to get running, man. Thank you so much for the call. Let's see here. Let's go to, let's see what we got here. 718. That's Brooklyn. Brooklyn, 718.
Brooklyn.
Come on. There we go.
Yo.
What up? On
the phone.
What's
hey, guys.
Raphael?
Nothing, man. Yep, that is me. So I had actually called the Jake Paul thing before the fight. I had spoken to a few people, and this goes in line with what I was telling you, B, with the whole Al Heyman thing, pretty much of the Canelo deal not going through. Yeah. I had mentioned that, you know, that Al Heyman needs that fight to happen because it'll inject more revenue into the whole thing. Yeah. And I think their business might have gotten messed up once again because I don't know if that fight looks as appealing anymore with Tank looking that bad last night. So that seemed to be the play, but I think the cat is out the bag right now. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen with that. I don't really know. In terms of, I just want to mention regarding Rayo, one thing that probably is smiling right now is Jose Benavidez, because he was kind of left out to dry the minute that he won that title. And I don't know, maybe that WBA title is pretty much cursed, because the minute they did Barroso's dirty, Ismael Barroso's, by giving that win to Rolly, that belt has been jumping from champion to champion to champion. It hasn't stuck one fight through. So that's pretty funny, but let's see. I think this whole Tank thing is bound to leak eventually. And I don't think his head is in it anymore. This guy is mentally checked out. So we'll see what's going to happen next. So that's my call, guys.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, he looked like it last night. I'll tell you that. He looked like he checked out.
Looked like he didn't want to be there.
Checked out. So Omar Rodriguez says another serious question. If Tank retires today, do you think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame?
No.
I don't think so. However, what's the criteria?
Arturo Gatti. Oh, you always go back
Is he
to this.
better than Arturo Gatti? Did he have a better career than Arturo? Then put him in.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think he had a better career than Arturo Gatti. I think Arturo Gatti fought better guys than him.
Stop. No, he didn't. Stop. He lost to better guys. He lost to better. Every time he stepped in competition, he lost. Tank's never lost.
Tank's never stepped up in competition.
He fought Ryan Garcia. He fought, who's the other guy? The first guy he won his title against.
Pedraza?
Yep.
That win didn't age well.
Pedraza did age well because he came out and won another title. Stop it. Pedraza's not going to the Hall of Fame. Now, how many Hall of Famers did he beat? Different animal. Now, Gatti boxed more Hall of Famers, no?
Yeah.
De La Hoya.
You know what it is, though? Can you ever look to anything Tank's ever done and compare them to those Mickey Ward fights?
Well, and hey, Nacho says, yeah, he did. Gaddy had a better career than Tank. So,
I think he did too.
Hey, he might have.
Yeah.
Off the cuff. He's a better fighter. Tank's a better fighter, much better fighter, I think.
You could argue he's more skilled.
Can you really argue that though? Like,
here's the problem, Eric. Gotti was in a really. How good would Gotti be in this era? Because he wouldn't. Gotti was
in this era.
He was a two-weight. He was a two-weight champion, right? So
he wouldn't be good in this era because what do we always say? Bigger, stronger, faster. Wouldn't be good in this era.
I don't know, man. No. I just think Gotti was fighting guys like De La Hoya, Floyd
He was
Mayweather.
Fighting big guys. Listen, he was fighting killers, no question.
You know what I mean?
But he was also losing against those same dudes. And I could argue he went life and death with a journeyman, which he did, Mickey Ward. Mickey Ward will call himself.
Whoa!
Oh yeah.
Whoa. You can't call Mickey Ward.
Peter McNeely's son.
He's from Massachusetts. Right. Lowell, the mean streets.
You don't even claim Marvin Hagler.
Sidewalks for
you don't even claim Marvin Hagler. Your own. Massachusetts.
You can never call.
You don't even claim it.
They made a movie about Mickey Ward, the fighter. They'll never make a movie about Tank Davis. Never.
I'm the king of Baltimore. What's the matter with you?
Please.
Never fighting words there.
Who had a better career? Who had a better resume? Arturo Gotti or Tank Davis? I want to hear it in the chat. A 1 for Arturo Gotti, a 2 for Tank Davis.
Not for nothing. Okay? Not for nothing. Tank's career is not over yet.
Yeah, it is.
So really, the writing's still on the wall. So I will say that you really can't say, if it ended today, yes. But if it didn't, I don't know. Tony says Eric's taking liberties. 1. See, he sided with me. Kidster sided with me.
I said 1 Arturo Gotti, 2 Tank Davis.
Siding with me, baby. Iceman, Drunken Irishman, all siding with me. Love it. Love it. Love it when you put those polls up there and it just blows up.
He beat Jesse James Lehow. You got to give him credit for that.
Jesse James Lehow was a bad man.
But all the champions this guy beat Arturo Gotti.
Very
Tracy Harris Patterson was a champion.
Tracy Harris Patterson was a very good fighter. All right, upcoming fights. There's not much. March 7th, London on Peacock. Natasha Jonas versus Lauren Price. These two chicks are going to fight for 20 minutes to determine the welterweight titles. Who cares? The co-main, Caroline Dubois. Who cares? Versus Bomi Ray Sheen. Who cares? This is an all-chick card.
Show some respect, please.
This is an all-chick card. I just noticed that. That's an all-chick card. March 12th in Sydney, Australia. What is that, next Wednesday or something like that? Not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. I don't know.
12th is next Wednesday. That's correct.
Yeah. Keith Thurman's fighting Brock Jarvis, but who cares? We'll talk about that next week. That's the fights. That's the fight. I got a chick card. I'm watching basketball or something like that. Watching NBA. I'm watching that now. Poatan fights next week in the UFC. I'll be watching that. Be watching that UFC card. What's the matter? Isn't Jonas like 40 now? Who knows?
She's getting up there.
Yeah, who knows how old she is?
He's getting up there in age.
But I will say this. Who cares how old she is? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Why don't you go fight whoever? Go fight somebody's mascot. Go fight the Philadelphia Fanatic or something like that.
Please.
Go fight them. What's the matter with you? Who cares about that? All right, let's get to the news. So, Chris Eubank and
I love it. I loved it. That was hilarious.
Chris Eubank and
Connor Ben.
Connor Ben. I had Nigel written down here, and I'm like, I know that's not right. I'm like, Nigel Ben's his dad, So Chris Eubank Sr., who's one of my favorite fighters of all time, one of my favorite guys of all time. The fact that he goes in the corner and he's got a 3-piece suit on and he's training. I love him. Anyway, so Chris Eubanks Jr., not so much, man. Connor Ben, he smacked him with an egg. He smacked Connor Ben with an egg at the presser. pulls an egg out and just like, slaps him around. That was kind of a weak move, man. That was kind of a chick move.
I loved
man.
it.
That was a whole move, man.
Wait,
I figured it was right up your alley.
That was such a good move. We're gonna start. We're gonna stop doing pie bets. We're gonna start doing egg bets.
No,
that's the new thing.
No way. Are you kidding me? With the price of eggs now?
Well,
what are eggs, like $40 a dozen now? We ain't doing eggs, son.
Well, the gas prices are going down, so we can kind of offset it with the gas.
The gas prices ain't going down. Go check again. They're not going down, son. I know what you're saying on that little show. I'm just saying.
$2.77 a gallon, man, down from $3.50.
Okay, so while we're talking about gas prices anyway, go ahead and tell them what you do. Your show on Sunday?
Okay, the show on Sunday. That was a good segue.
Not this one. Not this
one. Populist Perception.
Other one.
Make sure you subscribe to the Populist Perception. 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Myself, Maestro, and Ludo. Every Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We will talk about politics and the latest news and all that good stuff.
There you go. It's a good show. Even if you know why I love watching you, Beeb? Because even when we disagree, and we disagree, on boxing, but we disagree on politics, we're both on opposite ends. But when you give me when you make your points, even though I might not agree with them, it always gives me something to think about. And I do like that. Yeah. Gavin's Go says, Eubank's big balling if he's wasting eggs. That ain't no lie, man. Are you kidding me? Just throwing eggs out willy-nilly. Turkey Al Sheik has said the winner of the Conor Benn and Chris Eubank fight could face Canelo. Good move.
I think
we'll see.
I think
move up and wait to 168 and get smashed.
I think Chris Eubank Jr. is going to win that fight. I think most people believe that, and I think Chris Eubank Jr. will eventually be a Canelo opponent. But here's the thing: there's a lot of moving parts. You think Crawford's going to beat Canelo? I think Canelo's going to win. So if Crawford beats Canelo, that the Chris Eubank Jr. fight can't happen. So to put that out there is okay, but I don't know. I think it's like putting the cart before the horse, because there's so many things that could happen. Like what if Crawford upsets Canelo? What if Conor Benn upsets? I can't see Conor Benn. Conor Benn versus Canelo that's a
wipeout. Yeah,
that's a step way too far. Yeah. So I could see if Canelo beats. I think if Canelo beats Crawford, which I'm picking Canelo, and if Eubank beats Ben, which I'm picking as well, then I could see that fight happening. But the stars have to align for that fight to happen. Conor Benn versus Canelo, I don't see a snowball's chance in hell if that happens.
Yeah,
no way.
All right, so ML0860, he said, "Am I crazy to think Katie Taylor's kind of pretty?"
I think she's cute.
Yeah, I'd smash. Would you smash? I would smash.
Please.
Why do you have to take it there?
Why does it have to go to that level?
Why do you always have to take it there?
I mean, I would start out with a nice dinner date first, and then we could talk about
She's
that.
Class. She's a class girl. She's not going to date you.
She's only 45 minutes away, man. Connecticut's not that far from us. She lives in Connecticut.
Yeah, I know. I've been there. Oh,
please! Whoa! The legal team is not going to like that. We have so many defamation cases going against us because of statements like that.
Yeah.
Please.
All right, listen up. This is pretty amazing. All right, not necessarily the fight card, but just listen to me here. Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero will headline on, what is it, March 6th? I believe it's on, not March 6th, April 6th maybe? I don't know.
I think it's in April.
Sometime in April. Robbie will know. We'll check with him next week because the fight ain't going to happen between now and then. So Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero, Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez, and Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barboza. Listen, not a bad card. A lot of star power on the card. Not a bad card. The fight, Turkey Al Sheik has put this together. The fight, I can't believe this. Is going to take place in New York. No big deal, right? In Times Square. They're going to turn Times Square, from what I understand, from what they're saying, Times Square will be where these guys are going to throw down. Times Square.
Is that a bad move? I kind of like it.
I think it's amazing. Are you kidding me?
Right?
Right?
I didn't know where you were going to go with that. I couldn't figure out where you were going with that because I actually liked it. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad we're on the same page.
What's the matter with you?
No, you're
Get on the same
out there sometimes. Sometimes you are out there.
I send you the notes. You don't even read them. You don't even put any respect on them.
I don't read them.
You don't read them.
I do more than read them. I study them like they're like a
the
homework
Torah?
assignment. Like a homework assignment.
Like a homework assignment. What's the matter with you? I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. Like that's dynamic of just in Times Square. Okay, so you know where they drop the ball.
Correct.
It's got to be where it's got to be, right?
They're going to put a ring. They're going to put a ring right in the street.
And they've got like it's like that corner. It's cornered off, so the street's going aside. But they got that. They can put the ring right there where it doesn't interfere with the street. How they're going to set up it, I don't know. I don't care. I can't wait to see it.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So Maestro will probably go to that then. Wow.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And then Tszyu versus Joey Spencer on April 6th. You like that fight for Tszyu?
I don't hate it. I think he needs a comeback fight.
Joey Spencer's a good fighter. Joey Spencer doesn't suck. He's pretty good. He's not bad.
That's a good fight for him.
Yeah, that's a great fight. All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on X at jhabib1. Find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporter.com. You can find me on X at ringside73. Catch Joe's show, The People's Perception. Populist Perception.
Populist Perception. I'll drop the link in the chat. I dropped it in there early, but I'll drop it again.
The Populist Perception every Sunday at 10. And also Joe does break off. Beeb does break off. And just like he does this show from time to time, he'll put on things that are going on, update the news on the Populist Perception, everything like that. So go like and subscribe this channel, like and subscribe that channel. And guys, we will see you next week.